Hi everybody, welcome to Christian Homestead. My name is Jared. I don't know if you saw the news, but it looks like there's been a fire in downtown New York, in Manhattan, and it took place during the St. Patrick's Day parade that they have every year. It's unclear what has happened, but I want to go over some of the details and consider a few things. I would love your opinion. If you're here, let me know. Let me know where you're from. Put it in the chat. And you can also comment on this video if you're watching this after the stream is over. So I woke up today and I was checking X and I saw this. Fire erupts in Midtown Manhattan as high-rise near New York City's St. Patrick's Day parade. Fire erupts in Midtown Manhattan at high-rise near NYC St. Patrick's Day parade. And it looks pretty dramatic, and the first thing that came to mind for me was, is this a result of the Iran war? Because Iran has made threats against the United States. In fact, recently there was news about attacking California, but then the governor of California said that there were no threats. But is this possibly what's going on? I don't know. There isn't any news yet as to what caused this, although it appears to have something to do with the HVAC system. And then, interestingly, let's see. This broke just 12 minutes ago. This is Raw's alerts. The Washington Monument was temporarily closed after U.S. Park Police has detained a suspect who poured gasoline on a car and then set it on fire near the Washington Monument. Officials say no one was hurt and it's currently under investigation. And so, is something happening today? I don't know if it is. It doesn't seem like it's been too effective, but that wouldn't take away from the fact that if it was some form of terrorism, then something's going on. There is also another fire that took place, this one in Queens, New York. It's one of the boroughs of New York City. But it looks like it was just like an apartment building. And it killed 4. But it seems like that situation is under control. So when this war first broke, we talked about the fact that we need to be careful, especially if we're out in public. For me personally, I probably wouldn't go to large gatherings at this time. I don't know what Iran's capabilities are. I don't know how many sleeper cells they have in the United States. I feel like if they were really serious about it, I feel like they would have already been activated. But, you know, I'm no expert when it comes to war and things like this. But let me check the chat and see what everybody's saying. Let me know your thoughts and what you think is going on. Right now, I'm leaning more toward this is just, not a result of the Iran war, but it's interesting timing. It's interesting that it happened during the St. Patrick's Day parade. Babylon Farewell, South Carolina. September Menzia, hi guys. Nick Fledbetter, Midvale, Utah, and at work. Also, you always say my name wrong. F is my middle initial. Okay, Nick F. Ledbetter. I'll try and remember that. Out of all the people that get in the chat, I'll try and remember that. The Haystack is here. Make sure to subscribe to him. I spoke with Kevin Price from Gospel Lessons. He mentioned that Bruce Porter suggested Iran will lose this war and Israel will have a long period of peace, likely to end with Armageddon. Well, he has a completely different view of things, doesn't he? So I'm not sure if I'm in that same camp. Gary Saint, have you checked on my message asking for your take on Revelation 19:27? No, sorry. I get lots of emails. I do what I can to go through all of them. I'll try and keep an eye out for that. I put a poll in the chat asking how will the Iran war end? The 3 options are regime stays in power, regime change, and Armageddon. So far, there's 29 votes. 7% believe that the regime will stay in power. 59% believe that there's going to be regime change. and then 34% believe this is going to lead to Armageddon. Calamity Jane, thanks for the update from Independence, Missouri. Oh, okay, you're here in Independence. Nice. Tracy Wavra, Tracy from Salt Lake City. Okay, one thing I want to point out, I don't believe that this is fulfilling prophecy necessarily, or it could be, like many other things, partial fulfillment of prophecy. But recently, I found this really interesting quote from Joseph Smith that had to do with partial fulfillment of prophecy. When you read in, among other places, when you read in Mormon chapter 8, verses 29 to 30, it says, "Yea, it shall come in a day when there shall be heard of fires and tempests and vapors of smoke in foreign lands, and there shall also be heard of wars, rumors of wars, and earthquakes in diverse places." There's obviously other places in the scriptures that talk about or use the phrase vapors of smoke. And one thing that I thought was really interesting was when Joseph Smith and other church leaders went to Salem, Massachusetts. This is recorded in Doctrine and Covenants. I can't remember the section at this point. I think it was, I can't remember. Section 114, I'm not sure. But they went there looking for a solution to the church's financial problems because they had reason to believe that they might find money in Salem, Massachusetts. And while there, Joseph Smith received a revelation, which is now one of our sections of Doctrine and Covenants, and the Lord commanded him to learn about the founders of the city of Salem. And so he did so. They went to historic sites, and they also went to other places, including New York. And when they went to New York, it says here, this is Joseph Smith speaking, "While here, I visited the Burnt District, that part of the city where it was estimated 15 millions of property were consumed by fire on the 16th of December, 1835. According to the predictions of the ancient, that there would be fire and vapor of smoke in the last days." And so when I came across this, I was kind of surprised because it's like, well, there's been plenty of fires, you would think. This one obviously was a notable fire. It caused a lot of damage. But I think that this is probably the attitude that we should have when it comes to these types of prophecies, when we're just talking about wars, plural, fires, tempest. So anything that's notable, I think you should take note of, especially if they're happening more frequently and making more news. They're causing more damage, affecting the world more than previous ones. And so let me just go back to this story about the fire in New York. This is Fox 5 New York. Fire sends smoke plumes near St. Patrick's Day Parade route in Midtown. The brief says, a fire broke out in a Midtown high-rise near the St. Patrick's Day Parade route just before the festivities are set to begin. Okay, so this happened just before, but still, it's basically the same timing. Thick smoke was seen billowing from a building near East 43rd Street as emergency crews rushed to the scene. Officials said the fire appears to be in a rooftop HVAC system, and the cause remains under investigation. And I haven't really seen any other updates as to what caused it. I tend to think that if it was a result of an Iranian sleeper cell, that maybe they'd keep that quiet. I don't know. Or maybe they would have said, it looks, I don't know. I don't know what do you think that they would do? Do you think at this point, because I think this happened a while ago. Let's see, it says around 9:45 a.m. That's Eastern time. So here that would have been 8:45 where I'm at. And so that's like 4 hours ago about. So 4 hours, do you think that we would already know, or they would have made some kind of statement as to what caused the fire? Let me see if there's anything new about it on X. Yeah, there's nothing really new that I'm seeing. if you're just joining, there's another interesting thing that's happening right now. This is now 20 minutes ago. Well, actually, I'm not sure if it was 20 minutes ago. Let me refresh this. And okay, yeah, 20 minutes ago. The Washington Monument was temporarily closed after a U.S. Park Police has detained a suspect who poured gasoline on a car and then set it on fire near the Washington Monument. Officials say no one was hurt, and it's currently under investigation. A couple other things that I want to touch on. There were some numbers published by Reuters. The numbers of casualties by country since the start of this war. I had not seen anything like this yet. So let me just put it on the screen. This is being reported by Reuters and posted by Open Source Intel. So Iran is at the top of the list with 3,099. I guess I'm not too surprised at that. I kind of thought maybe if anything it'd be higher, but 3,099. Lebanon, 912. And I can only assume that has to do with Israel's strikes on Hezbollah. Iraq, 58. And I wish I knew if that was, Iran. I don't know if Iran had attacked certain locations in Iraq. I think it probably has. If it was a result of that, or if it was a result of the United States hitting Hezbollah, Iranian-backed militias. Israel, 14. And then it clarifies 12 from Iran strikes and 2 from Hezbollah. United States, 13. Oh, I didn't know the number was that high. I know that early on, after the war started, there were like an initial 3 or 4 that had died, U.S. service members. United Arab Emirates, 8. We had seen other charts that said that United Arab Emirates was the one that was attacked the most by Iranian ballistic missiles, but only 8, according to Reuters, as of right now. Kuwait, 6, Syria, 4, Oman, 2, Saudi Arabia, 2, Bahrain, 2, in France, 1. Oh, I didn't know about that French one. Okay. And then there was another relatively large attack from Hezbollah on Israel. Some of the latest news on that, in case you haven't been keeping on top of it, is that Israel is going into Lebanon up to the Litani River. In fact, let me pull up a map of Lebanon. Here we go. So basically, it's let's see, open in maps. The Litani River. Let me put it on the screen. Okay, let me zoom out first, and let's do it like this. Let's look at this type of map instead of satellite. So here's Israel. Here's Lebanon up here. The Litani River might be, no, that's a different river. Let me see. Maybe I can. Litani. Yeah, here we go. Litani River. Basically, it's like this bottom part of Lebanon that Israel is going to invade to take out Hezbollah infrastructure. And there were evacuation orders given by Israel as they're going to do this. There were reports that Israel was going to call up, I think, 450,000 reserves from the IDF to do this. So I think that's really interesting. If this was to turn into Armageddon, I still don't know exactly how it would happen unless there was just some kind of dramatic reversal. There have been all sorts of reports that Israel, is being worn down. Like it's, for example, its stockpile of interceptor missiles are low, and they obviously can't fight war forever and go on forever. I just wonder if at some point they would be so depleted and so worn out after being at war since 2023 with the October 7th attacks. I wonder if the point would come where they were exhausted and then Hezbollah and maybe others would be able to come down into Israel. Maybe not like some kind of like massive invasion from a huge superpower, like, or like large country like China or Russia. But what if something like that happened? And what if, like I've said a million times, what if Israeli Arabs and Palestinians all rose up and there was a intifada, there was a jihad or something like that, and then Israel is in serious trouble. I don't know, but we're seeing more and more activity in the north, and in my mind, that's a key battleground, this general area, because Megiddo is in the north of Israel, and there's been a lot of historically with Hezbollah, there's been a lot of rocket fire from Lebanon down into northern Israel. I can't remember how far south they've been able to strike, but over the last couple of years, there was like news that they had struck the furthest south that they ever had, and I think it was around Tel Aviv. So basically, Hezbollah has been able to launch rockets just in the northern Israel area. And so, is this what's being described when we're talking about Armageddon? I think a lot of people have the idea that there's just a huge conventional army with tanks and troop carriers and cargo trucks, just coming down in a very cinematic way. Maybe that's how it'll happen, but maybe not. Maybe the enemy is already in the country and they've been there for a long time, and maybe it mostly has to do with whatever Hezbollah is going to do. But right now, Israel is going after Hezbollah as it also attacks Iran. Let me go back to X, and I want to look at some of my other posts that I reposted. That's the latest. I need to go to the ones that I reposted. We have this from Mario Nafal in regards to the USS Gerald R. Ford, that it's heading back to Crete after a fire reportedly wrecked part of the ship. And I had heard that before today, that there was like a fire on board the USS Gerald R. Ford. But this is the shocking part. I trust Mario Nafal. He reports accurate information, at least most of the time. 600 plus sailors left without beds. So before today, I was already aware that there was a situation with the toilets. Something having to do with the fact that there weren't enough toilets in the, included in the design of the ship. And it's just been, I guess, a miserable situation for these sailors because it's already a record-breaking deployment in terms of the length of deployment. So that's already weighing everybody down. But on top of that, the situation with the toilets and people having to stand in line. I think I remember posts saying that people were standing in line for like 45 minutes to use the bathroom. And then now this, if this is true, 600 plus sailors left without beds. So they're probably just like sleeping on the floor, or maybe like on the, not on like the top deck, but like maybe there's like, I think there's cargo bays in aircraft carriers. Maybe they're like sleeping there temporarily. And then it says, now they're checking if it was set on purpose to dodge the extended deployment. Crew already got caught earlier clogging toilets for the same reason. Ship's been out since June 2025, pushing record deployment time. I thought it already broke the record. Navy hasn't confirmed anything yet. And hopefully it wasn't because there was like a sailor that was compromised by Iran, because there's always the risk of that. People taking cash rewards for betraying their country. I guess that's always a possibility. There's been a lot of talk of the Iranian leadership, that a lot of it has been taken out. Let me go back to the chat and see what everybody's saying. The haystack, I love that section. DNC 114, there were treasures to be found. Okay, so it was section 114. Very cute 1989 says, this is worrisome for me, especially since my oldest son is on a flight currently to New York City for a school music department trip. I'm not sure what to make of things, but I'm definitely praying. This is just my opinion for what it's worth. I wouldn't be too concerned. I know that I'm making a video about it just because we don't know what's happening. It could be something big, but if it is, it doesn't seem like it's been too effective. And if it was me and my son, I wouldn't be too concerned. I'm not saying I wouldn't be completely concerned, but I just really wouldn't be too concerned. It's not like it doesn't appear that there have been other, if it's an attack, it doesn't appear that there have been other ones, except for potentially the Washington Monument with the guy lighting a car on fire. But, I mean, that's not really that intense. I mean, it's getting a bunch of attention. Like, here's a video. I'm not going to play the video, but here's a video on X posted by Comunicalia Noticias podcast, where you have a bunch of people looking up and taking video with their cameras. There's a news crew right there. So, I mean, it's not the kind of scene that you want to see in New York City, especially given its past. But it's getting people's attention, and it may just have been an accident rather than something malicious. So far, that's what it seems like to me. Here's this right here. Here's like the air conditioning units, and you can see fire right here in the black smoke. I mean, could it have been some kind of like sabotage? I don't know. I mean, if it was, what did it achieve? You're trying to achieve something if you're the one doing the attack. It doesn't appear to have stopped the parade, if that's what the goal was. Okay, let me check a few other... Oh, wait, let me go back to the chat. Let's see. KJG leaves a heart. That's one of KJG's hallmarks on my channel, is leaving hearts. September Menzia, and I appreciate the hearts, by the way. September Menzia, it seems there is focus on the Savior returning soon by the first presidency. With President Nelson's now is the time for spiritual momentum, becoming peacemakers, increase temple worship. Yeah, definitely. I feel like I can say there's been an increase, even just during the time that I've been doing my channel, which began on August 9th of 2021. President Nelson was already very focused on the second coming right off the bat, but since that time, there's been a lot of focus on the second coming, and a lot of my best quotes come from after I started my channel. A lot of the quotes that I would term final phase quotes. So I totally agree. And there's been a surprising amount of second coming quotes after the passing of President Nelson. Maybe it shouldn't be surprising because, again, it's the Lord that's in charge of this church, and he's the one that instructs the prophet what to do. So why would it change just because President Nelson passed away? Goblin Camper, we know that eventually things will get worse and the wicked will be destroyed. If there is a report of Damascus is wiped clean, then we know that it is closer. I'm glad that I don't have to worry about serving in the army and being drafted due to my age and having a learning disability. I do have nephews that would have to worry, though. Yeah, at this point, I'm in the same boat. I think mostly because of my sleep apnea. Plus I don't have hearing in one ear anymore. I think that's thanks to the army. But anyway, we have, let's see, Serena Abel, I think, or Seriana. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but she just became a member. So welcome. Make sure to check out those videos. I'm going to try and put out more as I have time. There's more things that I want to talk about in regards to Community of Christ and other things. Let's see. Cynthia Christopherson. I think of President Nelson's reminding his granddaughter about looking at the big picture and looking at the frequency and impact of wars, countries involved. Oh, I don't know if can you tell me where to find that? I don't know if I already have that on my spreadsheets or not. I'd be interested to look at that. I don't think I have already. Brian Turley. I've looked all over the internet, and so far you are the only one covering this fire. Way to go, Jared, in bringing breaking news. Well, I appreciate it, but probably the reason why no one else is covering it is because I'm not sure that there is much news here. The cause has not been determined yet, or at least it hasn't been announced if it has. So this may not be anything. Again, if you're just joining for the first time on this live stream, you have this fire in New York that's made some news. It doesn't seem like it's really affected anything, but the reason why it's probably making so much news is because it happened in such close proximity to the St. Patrick's Day parade. And then there was a fire in Queens. It doesn't seem like they're related, but you have those two fires in New York making news. And then there's a report of somebody lighting a car on fire near the Washington Monument. So if this is some kind of attack, it doesn't seem to be very effective. It's not like grand in its scale. It's not like other things that we've seen in this country. Here's a pretty good graphic of what I was talking about earlier as far as Israel going into Lebanon. This is from Emmanuel Fabian. The IDF repeats its wide-scale evacuation warning of southern Lebanon, telling civilians they should evacuate to the north of Zarani River. Oh, I'm wondering, this one right here, this oh, is that a river? I'm not sure. Here, let's blow this up. If this one is a river, I think this is the Litani River that I was showing you earlier, this like lower one. But now he's talking about another river, the Zarani River, which is up here. So I wonder if they've expanded their plans. At first, I think it was just going to be down here. The warning was issued on Thursday. What's today? Tuesday. So, like last week. Hezbollah's terror activities are forcing the IDF to act forcefully against it in that area, and it does not intend to harm you, says Army spokesman Colonel Avakay Adrei. Airstrikes are ongoing as the IDF is operating with great force in the area. Therefore, for your safety, we again urge you to evacuate your homes immediately and move at once to north of the Zarani River. I'm telling you, this is new to me. Before it was the Litani. I'm pretty sure of that. Any movement southward may put your lives at risk, Adrei adds. The IDF has pushed troops deeper into southern Lebanon in recent days to push away the threat of Hezbollah from the border. However, the IDF has said that Hezbollah is launching most of its attacks from even deeper within southern Lebanon and not from areas close to the border. Okay. Earlier, somebody said that there was going to be like a public address by the leader of Hezbollah. I'm assuming that's already taken place, but I haven't seen any news about it. And there were reports that the IDF had detected Hezbollah pre-positioning for like a large rocket attack. And then there was an attack, but, and I think this is it right here. No, I doubt it though, because this is pretty far south. This is south of Jerusalem. I don't think Hezbollah can reach that far south. Anyway, there was a report that the IDF had detected Hezbollah pre-positioning itself for a large attack, and that there was going to be this public address or speech. There was something that said that Hezbollah had launched a dozen rockets. Let me see if I can find that. Give me just 1 second. So, like, this is what I saw 4 hours ago. The IDF says it has identified preparations by Hezbollah to carry out major rocket fire on Israel in the coming hours. This was 4 hours ago. According to the military's indications, the terror group is planning to fire a large number of rockets at both northern and central Israel. The IDF says it is carrying out various actions in an attempt to thwart the planned barrage and is prepared to intercept the rockets with air defenses. The military says it does not want to cause unnecessary panic among the public and therefore issued the public notice. Last week, the IDF acknowledged that it was a mistake not to update the public ahead of a large Hezbollah rocket and drone attack in northern Israel, especially once Israel's assessments of the planned barrage were leaked on social media and published by international media. Yeah, so the way that I've observed it, yeah, there was like one big Hezbollah attack, and now it seems like maybe there's another one on its way. I'm not sure if it's already taken place because, like I said, there was somewhere that I saw earlier that said that they had already launched off like dozens. So I don't know if that was it or not. And then I saw this is 3 hours ago from Khan's Suleiman Maswada. Hezbollah leader Naim Qassem is expected to deliver a speech tonight at 1900. Let's see, what time is it in Lebanon? So 1900 would be 7 p.m. and right now it's 8:18 p.m. So I don't know if that speech was delivered or not. If it was, I'm not seeing any news about it. Okay, from Trey Yingst, Israel estimates it will take, quote unquote, a few weeks to destroy the ballistic missiles threat from Iran. It will take a few weeks more. They still have the capability to launch missiles. The official added that Iran aimed to launch tens of missiles a day at Israel but aren't able to do so. This is due to Israel and the United States striking the missiles and launchers belonging to the regime. There's been a lot of criticism from Turkey, like this 31 minutes ago. Turkish President Erdogan. Israel has been keeping Al-Aqsa Mosque closed to Muslim worship for 17 days without any authority and for completely arbitrary reasons. I don't know what it would take for Turkey to attack Israel. I don't know that they ever would because Turkey is a U.S. ally and part of NATO. But I just wonder if there's like something that could lead to Turkey being the one to invade Israel and causing Armageddon. Oh yeah, this was kind of weird. Lately, there's been talk about Cuba by the Trump administration and how Cuba is going to fall. And I saw something saying that the country is without electricity. I don't know if that's still the case, but this is posted 7 hours ago by Dylan Federico. A significant earthquake struck near Cuba last night. 5.8. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting timing. I don't feel like it's often that you get big earthquakes like that near Cuba, but I guess I haven't really been watching. What's today? The 17th? Oh yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day. Here's a graph put together by Mario Leb, showing the rate of missiles and drones being launched by Iran. You can see it's dramatically dropped, but they're still doing it. So in red you have missiles, and the last data point, I guess for the 16th there were 27, and before that 25, 27, 28, 30. So it's kind of like plateaued at this point. So I was hoping that there'd be some like breaking news, because it felt like there was going to be just this imminent attack by Hezbollah, and maybe we could watch it as it unfolds. I'm not sure if it's taken place. I can't even find the post that I saw earlier that said that they had launched dozens of rockets. I don't know if that's what the IDF had detected, if that was the big attack, or if we're still waiting for it. Here's another thing though. So in addition to the New York City fire, on top of that high rise, and the guy setting that car on fire near the Washington Monument, there's something here from Mario Nafal. A bag with wires was reported outside a synagogue in Bay Terrace, Queens, New York, with locals calling 911 and waiting for police. So I don't know if something's happening in New York right now. A fire on the roof of that high rise. There was a fire in Queens, what seemed to be just like an ordinary apartment building. It killed 4. And then this, a bag with wires outside a synagogue in Queens. So is something happening today, or I don't know. Is everybody just on edge? Like if these things happen on separate days, well, maybe I guess I'm maybe the only one on edge. Here's the bag, and yeah, you see. Let me blow it up here. Oh, I don't know if that, but yeah, you see like some wires right here. It's kind of a suspicious looking backpack, not something that you probably want to come across. Probably going to wrap it up here in just a minute. Let me go back to the chat. Let's do an update with the poll. So now we have 106 votes. 9% say the regime stays in power, 44% say regime change, and 46% say Armageddon. Of course, you know, this is my audience, and we're all kind of a little bit biased toward the second coming probably happening sooner than later. Who knows? I don't know if we could even really, well, I don't think that we could predict it, but that's how people feel. It's kind of split between regime change and Armageddon, and then there's a small minority that thinks that the regime will stay in power. Let's see. Price Tyson, if any of your viewers has any extra General Conference tickets that they can give to me, they can give them to me. I live in Sandy, Utah. Okay, well, I don't know if I'll be able to coordinate that, but I hope that you get those tickets. And then Price says, where's your where's your green? Nowhere. I'm not sure why we celebrate this holiday. I'm fine with it. I've never really cared about it. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you guys. Okay, Serena Abel. I'm grateful to be here. I am hoping to find the balance and find peace through the chaos/charity of Christ's coming, or clarity of Christ's coming. Good. Well, I don't know how long you've been watching the channel, but I hope that it helps you feel better about things. One thing that we focus on is our leaders have talked about the fact that the future is bright, that we shouldn't fear. Recently, Elder Redland talked about the fact that he pointed to the fact that I think. He pointed to the fact that President Nelson always talks about the future with optimism and hope. And the main thing is to be righteous, and then after that we should be temporally prepared as well. But the most important thing is to live righteously and be on the covenant path. KJG says one of the seminaries in Salt Lake City is having a fireside on high schoolers' responsibility in the second coming. Awesome. That's good. That sounds like a good fireside. Price Tyson, I'm so very ready for Christ to come here on earth. Again, I need Jesus here on earth. I hope the second coming will happen on April 6, 2030 or before, but on September 23rd, 2027 or after. Oh, so that's the time frame that it needs to happen. Well, I guess we'll see. I think that this is going to be an exciting year. And then I have a feeling, this is still Price Tyson, I have a feeling that Dieter F. Uchtdorf will be the prophet when Christ comes again, which I assume will be around the year 2030, give or take 2 or 3 years, one way or the other. Yeah, maybe. Stacy Mayer, I am thankful our son-in-law is too old and our grandson has a heart condition. Neither will be drafted. Cuba will fall and we will have a partnership in Cuba. Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think that Cuba will fall. I think that there will be a change. I think this current administration is making sure that a lot of things are changing. We already saw what happened with Venezuela, and we see what's happening with Iran. So if I were to take this poll, I would vote for Armageddon just because I feel like this is the best candidate that we've seen for Armageddon outside of the other existential wars that Israel has faced already, namely the War of Independence, the 6-Day War, and the Yom Kippur War. I feel like this is the best candidate, and I just feel like things are escalating, and there's been a compression of events. But I would be very, very surprised if the regime stays in power. I don't think that Trump would allow that to happen because I think he's serious about regime change. I also think his pride is on the line. I like him. Okay. I like Trump, but it's okay to point out flaws or unflattering things. I think that he is very, very prideful, and I don't think that his pride would allow for the regime to stay in power. That's just, doesn't that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody? Am I wrong on that? Let's see. Goblin Camper. I like to watch Stephen Burns. His videos about the sun and the planetary alignments causing earthquakes throughout the world. He had a new video out that was interesting to watch. Nate Sheltree Music says, be careful with Stephen Burns. He is an astrologist. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about him. He definitely seems like a nice guy. He does seem to have fringe beliefs about things. I can't verify that, what he's saying is correct. I think a lot of what he says is correct. I think he is a geophysicist and he knows what he's talking about, but when he starts to venture out into the weeds, I'm not sure that I really follow him out there. Cynthia Christopherson, I shake and am in assisted living. I was thinking of these singular events as a comparison to his daughter's issue. I was thinking of these singular events as a comparison to his granddaughter's. Sorry, I'm not sure if I followed that. Goblin Camper, my wife and I will be attending the Sunday morning session in person. Oh, great. Borky Baby, loud fireball boom, seen over Ohio today. Goblin Camper, it's been a while since we have attended General Conference in person. I was hoping to attend the session with the Solemn Assembly. Yeah, that'll be great. I think this General Conference will be big. I did a video about that recently, so you may want to check that out if you missed it. But I'm just basing it on a lot of things, but one of the biggest things to me is there was a lot of big things that happened during President Nelson's first general conference as president of the church, and I think that'll continue with President Oaks. And we've already seen so much change between President Nelson's passing and President Oaks, namely the reduction in mission age for women that want to go on missions. They can now go at 18, as well as the discontinuation of the Saturday evening session. And then there's been other things too. The another huge one is how temples are going to be announced now. So, I have no expectation that any temples will be announced this general conference, because from what has been put out, there's going to be a new way of doing that. Borky Baby says, in addition to the fireball over Ohio today, a fireball over Ohio exploded with a loud boom exactly a year ago. Well, that's kind of weird. Let's see. Sorry, I just want to check something really quick. What? The deadly fireball ride accident. Oh, that's probably something else. I was like, was this fireball deadly? But I think this is talking about a ride. Yeah, fireball ride at the Ohio State Fair. Catastrophically failed midair. This was March 6th of this year. But Fox weather. So this was a year ago. Fireball spotted streaking across night sky in 13 states. I don't think I see any news reports about the one today. I haven't seen anything on X yet either. But anyway, yeah, that is interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see. Woodcraft Supply Corner. Did you hear about the fireball over... Oh, yeah, okay. So we were just talking about that. Huh, 2 people bringing that up. I haven't seen anything about that yet. Let me refresh my X feed. Not seeing anything about that. Man, this image right here, it's mostly just a visual thing. I realize that this fire may just be the result of an accident or some kind of maintenance issue or something like that, but this looks apocalyptic right here. Isn't that's the, what's it called, the Chrysler Tower? Is it still called that? But this looks like something from out of a movie. I have to verify that now. Chrysler Tower. Or yeah, Chrysler Building. It's probably... that may be one of my favorite buildings in New York, because I've told you guys a number of times, I really like Art Deco. I really, really do. I wish that there was just like a mega city, like maybe here in Kansas City. I wish it was just like a mega Art Deco city. There is a lot of Art Deco in Kansas City, but I wish there were more. There were more buildings with that kind of architecture. Key G123. Because I know people celebrate St. Patrick's Day, I felt I needed to teach my primary kiddos the reason people celebrate it, the original story, and how they can also testify of Christ. Nate Sheltry says about Stephen Burns, he seems informed, but he has a lot of new ageism, which I think does color his views. Yeah, I agree. I'm on the same page with you on that. What is everyone's plans to celebrate the Easter season more? Um, so we're still, like, for my part, we're still trying to figure out how we're going to do that, how we're going to have new traditions around Easter. And one thing that my wife wants to do is like a treasure hunt. Like each day there's like a you honey,
Yeah.
what what was the thing that you're trying to do with like a treasure hunt for Easter or for like Holy Week?
Oh, I wanted to add gifts to make it kind of fun. So each night of Holy Week, the kids have a small gift to go hunt for and unwrap.
So like a gift that they hunt for each day of Holy Week.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something that we're doing. Excuse me. Let me drink some water. The church put out a thing where, like on church news, recommending different ways to celebrate Easter and different traditions. Let's see. Church news, Easter traditions. How long have we been going for? 51 minutes. Okay, I'm probably going to wrap up with this unless there's breaking news. Um, March 12th, there was an article on Church News titled Lani Hilton, Easter is a Season. And it was recommending for decor. It was like simple, meaningful decor can remind us daily of the sacred events of the Easter season. Appropriate colors may include golds, purples, greens, and spring pastels, uh, as well as palms. And then meaningful symbols might include empty tomb, a cross, palm leaves, a crown of thorns, or a small vase or perfume jar, recalling the woman who anointed the Savior. Traditions, she recommended hot cross buns, which I guess other Christians eat on Good Friday. And then fasting on Good Friday is common. Sorry. And then there's something called Lazararica bread, a Greek Orthodox tradition, is a kind of roll shaped like a person wrapped in burial cloth. Don't know if I like the idea of eating that or having that imagery, but okay. Mediterranean foods like lentil soup, pita bread, hummus, dried apricots, grape juice, nuts, and cheeses are simple and can be used for Last Supper commemoration. The article recommends scripture study and images and like certain images to use, like Palm Sunday things. Oh, wait, it says families or church groups might also reenact events from Holy Week. A Palm Sunday procession, parable, charades, extra cleaning to remember the cleansing of the temple, a Last Supper commemoration, or a reader's theater of the crucifixion narrative on Good Friday, and sunrise devotional on Easter Sunday. Um, and then it recommends a bunch of music for different times, like Palm Sunday, Hosanna, Rejoice the Lord is King, Praise the Lord Almighty. I made a video because it said um, the 40 days after Easter, uh, there's like certain songs, including Handel's Hallelujah chorus, which Hallelujah corresponds to the book of Revelation. So it's like a second coming thing. And then it says on Ascension Day, hymns about the second coming. So here it is right here, in case you want to take a screenshot, or I'll put the link for this in the I'll put a link for this in the chat right now. And then I'll put it in the description box once I'm done with the live stream. Yeah, the thing with like traditions is, like, you think how Christmas developed, like all the different traditions and the imagery of Christmas and the aesthetics. It takes a long time for these things to happen organically. And you have different countries throughout the world that do different things in different regions. It all just organically develops over time. And the church is wanting to really shift its focus to Easter. And I think a good thing is to look at what has already organically developed, while at the same time, hopefully, developing new traditions for the future. But I think it's just going to take time, and things are going to have to take off and trend. Maybe there's going to be some new thing that we don't even know about right now that'll get really popular this year, 5 years from now. And then it'll be hard to picture Easter without whatever that tradition or thing is. So one thing that I like, let me see if I can find it. I'm going to go to Instagram and let's see, Tiny Temples. Are you guys familiar with Tiny Temples? It's a company, Tiny 3D Temples. So let me see if I can find the one I'm looking for. Yeah, okay. So in fact, before I show this on screen, let me put this in the chat. I would encourage you to follow them on Instagram. They may be on other platforms, but 3D Tiny Temples, like their name implies, they make tiny 3D temples, which is really cool. In fact, I might need to see if they have like a Kirtland Temple one. Ever since I went to the Kirtland Temple, I've been wanting Kirtland Temple stuff. But they have ornaments and other things than just tiny 3D temples. They have other products. But the one that I want to highlight here is this Easter Krish countdown. So this thing up here slides. You see that? Maybe she'll do it in just a second. But I really like this thing, like a lot. Oh, that's cool. Oh, look at that. I guess that's like the Ascension, or you can picture it as the Second Coming. Yeah, this thing is cool. I would like if this became a tradition. It looks really nice. So I just want to see if they're, see the little girl. Oh, look, you can roll the stone off of the entrance to the tomb. And then Christ is back there. This is not a paid promotion, by the way. They didn't know that I was going to do this. I'm doing this on the fly. I might have to like collaborate with them though, maybe, because I'm very down with what they do. That is cool. Oh, look, here's another thing. It's another like stone rolling thing, but this one is just focused on just that Christ coming out of the tomb, and then you roll the stone away. Awesome. Okay, 58 minutes. Let me just do one more check and see if there's any other breaking news. So potentially there's going to be, look at this. When I was in the military, I was like very, I subscribed to all these like different military Facebook pages and stuff like that, and like all the military memes. And there's these ones that will have these Chinook helicopters. Oh, I don't know if this one's a Chinook. I think it is. But like you have the troops that load in the back there, but like the two engines here, like they look like eyes, and it looks like a big frog monster thing eating soldiers. There's like a meme that was like, it was like, nom nom, these soldiers are tasty. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other breaking news, but that, just keep an eye out for that. There may be a large attack by Hezbollah. Oh, here's okay. Faye Tuck's News says rocket barrages ongoing from Lebanon towards Israel. So I don't know, maybe this is it. Yeah, it's going on right now. Okay, so let's at least wait and see what happens here. If this is something out of the ordinary or not. So right here we're looking at the very the very far north of Israel, right on the border with Lebanon. There's some more up there. By the way, I contacted Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz, the Jewish man with Israel 365. I checked on him and he said that he's doing well. I just wanted to see if he's okay. He lives in the Golan Heights area, but him and his family are okay. So I just wanted to update you on that. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to launch anything else, but let's click on this. So this was 12 minutes ago. So in this attack, there were there were many more areas that received alerts. The I think when it's this orange color, yeah, hostile aircraft intrusion. So it'd be like a drone. And then the red ones are missiles. They do have other alerts other than for drones and missiles, like if there's like some kind of ground incursion, like what happened on October 7th, because that's a potential concern. You see those like occasionally. They're more on the rare side. But you had that, and then there was this in the so this was 12 minutes ago. This one, the smaller one, was 10 minutes, and then 1 minute ago, the one that we were just watching was this. So I don't know if that's the big attack that the IDF was worried about. I don't know. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks for joining me. If there's ever any other really big breaking news, I'll hop on here. But otherwise, I'll have videos for you every day. I usually publish them at 10 a.m. Central Time. And I think things are going to get more and more exciting as we get closer to General Conference. I plan on doing an interview with Jen with Christian Fire Poppy. We're going to do kind of like a pre-conference discussion. And then afterwards, I'll probably talk to a bunch of different people as we analyze what happened at General Conference. But I hope you guys have a